Peace and light, peace and love. And thank you for connecting with the Sirius Cipher yet again this week. And this week we dealing with the full energy. And this is some brand new energy. We just set off 2023. And so it's absolutely no coincidence that this full energy presented itself, because this is a time for us to really shift into that energy of new beginnings. And so before I even get started with really building on this energy right here, I really wanted to give some shout outs to all of the cats that was able to support this cipher, this whole work that Spirit had placed in my heart to assist us along our journey, because this year of 2023, we all talk about it being that 7-year, and I'm really excited about a lot of spiritual masters showing up, a lot of folks awakening out here in these streets. I'm super excited about all of that. On the other end, we also have to be mindful of what 7 energy is all about. And on one end, where 7 energy is about consciousness, it's about consciousness, whether it's vibrating high and vibrating low. And sometimes it shows itself as this depression that's been showing up, that's been prevalent out here in these streets. And it's really important for us to tap in and tune into our vibration. Keep it as high as we absolutely can. And really make sure that we're out here with all of the tools to assist those people that may need our encouragement and support out here. And then it'll be reciprocated. Absolutely. And so I definitely want to shout out all of these cats at the Cipher that's been coming, getting a build on, doing it in a big way. And definite shouts out to those cats that supported my project with Holistic Appeal. I sincerely appreciate and love each and every one of you cats that just wanted to see what this work was all about and decided to go ahead and invest a few dollars to look a little further. And I appreciate that. And if you're interested in getting that, it is on Amazon. And I'll be loading it back on my site too, so that I can still continue to give out some of those signed copies. But I've been working on so many projects right about now. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the channels and downloads. So right now it looked like I'm solo dolo, and it's all good. But I did want to check in about this spirit animal that's been coming in. I love to connect with the Cipher and talk about like any channels, any downloads. Like this has been some ripe energy for that. And I also understand that this has been some energy that's just really been weighing us. Well, for me, I ain't gonna say us, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, it's really been weighing me. And I ain't been motivated to do too much of nothing but like the bare necessities again. And it's like I'll get these high spikes of energy, and I'm just navigating out here. I'm doing my thing. I'm out and about. I'm doing what I got to do. And then my energy like wanes. And then I'm, whatever, And maybe some of that, this Virgo moon right now is waning, moving towards this new moon in Aquarius. And that Virgo waning moon is all about us really looking at the details and really looking at some of those things, especially where that Virgo energy, it puts me in that mentality of like paying attention and having that strict diet. Like a lot of folks that's in that Virgo energy tend to be concerned about the things that go into their body. And this is an opportunity to really tap into that energy and really start being a lot more mindful of the things that we're taking in, and really being sure that what we're taking in has a higher vibration to it. just really focusing on that with this particular energy. And we are still in Capricorn season. Shout out to the Caps out there in these streets doing the work in a big way. You know that Capricorn energy is about that work, about that business. And so definitely that I wanted to check because, you know, for me, I'm a moon girl. I need to know where that moon's located at so that I'll know exactly where the emotional state of these streets is going to be at. Peace, brother Dante. What's going on, bro? I just see you now connecting in. What's going on, brother? What's going on? I was just starting it off by talking about some of the downloads and channels that's been coming through. So definitely feel free to jump right on in there and talk about any of the downloads. One of the animal totems that came through really powerful, I have two of them. And earlier this week, I kept running into this owl totem. And so when this owl comes through, I had to pull it up in the bookie book. And this is all about us really taking some time to meditate in silence. And that's exactly the energy. That's exactly the space that I've been in. It says, be alert to deception on the parts of others. Maybe you're aware of it or not. And look closely behind any guises that they may wear. This is also a time for prophecy, and you will see, hear, and feel events before they happen. Shit's been on point, on fleek, we used to say. And your most creative cycle now is in the night. So set aside some time in the evening to work on any projects. This is profound. See, when I work with the owl, I always get into study mode. Right. And so I'm looking into this animal guide and I'm just really now like looking at the deeper meanings. I already know for me, when I see the owl, like what that means directly for me. But to also know that this is telling me about, hold up, this night thing, because I'm a morning person. Typically, I wake up early in the morning. I'm a 10, 11 o'clock in bed type of chick. And I'm up and I rise early in the morning, but lately it hasn't been that way. It's been more of me being up all night, wee hours. One night I didn't even go to bed until somewhere around like 5, 6 in the morning. And I definitely could have been using that time to be a lot more productive. There was a lot of downloads that was coming in. Peace and light and love, Aquarius moon in the house. How's it going?
Hey, lady, how are you?
I'm getting it together. I was just talking about this owl totem that had come through. And when that owl shows up, it's all about us really paying attention to the details, to the little shit that's going on around us, and how people are delivering information to you to look into it, not just at it.
And I really resonate with that. You just don't understand how much. So go ahead.
Okay. But here was the thing. So I was really deep in this energy, right? And as I'm looking at this, as this going, it was talking about how you're going to be more productive at nighttime. And I was just talking about how I'm typically a morning, an early riser. But lately it's been kind of flipped and I've been up like all hours, wee hours of the night and everything. And what I'm going to do is use that time to be a lot more productive and see, you know, what creative ideas may come up during those particular hours and everything. So
that was issue yesterday. That was my exact issue last night, clarity. Because I could not sleep. And it was just wow. Like I fell asleep for maybe an hour at 2 a.m. and then I was right back up for the rest of and I'm usually up early in the mornings too. So it's kind of a bit rough on me.
Right. Yeah, that was, I'm telling you, that was like profound for me because it was almost as if like I kept running into owl totems. And then I'm turning on TV and I'm seeing something on the owl, you know what I'm saying, on the nature shows and stuff that I like to check out once in a while. But then one of the things that I knew that this owl was really speaking to me is I decide I'm going to stop at the thrift stop. You know what I'm saying? My husband want to go play his number. I said, well, why are you in there? I'm going to go stop through the thrift shop because it's a couple doors over, see what's going on in there. And in there was this gold owl brooch that was in there. It was like it was waiting for me to show up. You know, so I had to definitely grab that up, and I put that on my little trench coat, and you know what I'm saying, and kept it moving and everything. And I said, okay, so this owl was trying to speak to me. But then I got this other dream. I'm like a little dozed off, and this fat furry looking bird, I'm like, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, I don't know what that is. Maybe that's a sparrow or something like that. Like, I don't know what this is, right? And I'm going through this spirit animal guide and open up this bird to this bird. I don't know if you can see it right here.
I don't know. Let me.
Sort of like this. Okay. So this bird is all fuzzy, furry. This is exactly what I was looking at, which was, you know what I'm saying, profound. So definitely got to give shout out to the kookaburra. The kookaburra. The kookaburra comes through confirming a lot of the information that spirit had been given to me. It says to manifest your dreams, stay centered. Maintain your focus and determination and let nothing deter you. Be compassionate, yet don't be fooled by anyone who acts casual and lighthearted when you sense that they're covering up some unpleasant feelings. The best way to overcome the fear you face and to do whatever you need, and the best way to overcome your fear is to face it and do whatever you need to do in order to accomplish your objective. And then when this bird also shows up, it's also asking that you take a break from your worries by participating in something that makes you laugh out loud and that you enjoy. And it also lets us know that we're spending too much time daydreaming and fantasizing rather than taking steps towards manifesting the actual dreams and vision. I can spend a whole century in my mind.
Man. I mean, that just said a whole word to me. Like, you don't even understand, like, the meditation that I was in the other night, like, all of that came out. All of that.
Oh,
everything that you just said.
wow.
Like, you got the tools, you have everything you need. Yep. Get up and go do it.
Wow.
So, and that was another part of facing your fears. Whatever, you know, you're scared of, it's all in your head. So, yeah, that is so wow. When we were little, do you remember that Kookaburra song, the Kookaburra song they used to sing to us? Because when you pulled it up, the whole song popped in my mind again.
Kookaburra, something.
Mary, Mary, king of the bush is he. Rise, Kookaburra, make gay your life must be. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? We need to be rocking with that jam, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
We need to be rocking with that. You know what? When I first saw that, and I said, kookaburra, I said, this bird is for real. That's what I said. You know, I thought it was just a song when we was kids.
I did too. But no, and then on top of that, let me add a little spice on it. I swear I was just watching this show on it's a station called Black, and the kookaburra was just in that show, like literally an hour ago.
Wow. That's profound. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know what this bird is. And this is a fat furry bird. Like, what in the hell? You know what I'm saying? So how about that? So the kookaburra is real. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's profound to me. You know, I thought it was just a kid's song where, you know, they was, you know, how about that? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I can thank my public school education for putting me down, you know, making me, you know, so knowledgeable about the things that's going on in nature. So,
right.
You know, for real, for real. So, yeah, so we talking about this full energy.
Yes.
This full energy. Unless you got any other channels downloads you want to share before we start diving up into this.
You know what? The crazy part about it is, remember I messaged you earlier. It was like, hey, what's it about again? And then when you said the food card, I said, bet. Because I had already gotten all the channels. So that's basically what was it. Get up off your ass and get moving.
I gotta tell you, man, I can't make this shit up, for real. I really can't. And
Well,
even if I wanted to make some shit up, you know what I'm saying? That shit shows up. You know what I'm saying? It just, I remember there was a time before where I said, well, you know what? I'ma just be on some random shit, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that
yeah.
shit ended up being, see, Spirit is funny like that. You want to play a
Yeah.
game? Spirit got a game. For real.
Right.
Let me get a little water. But let me read up on here because I just love the way they bring these intros in here. It says the Fool card is the first in the major arcana. The Fool begins with your journey towards wisdom. The Fool represents innocence and faith, the naive confidence of youth. Shown as a young traveler, he embarks in a venture without a care in the world, unconcerned about the potential dangers that lurk ahead on the path. In some decks, he appears as happy-go-lucky male that's standing on the edge of a cliff, just about to step off into the great unknown. And often he carries all of his worldly possessions tied in a small bag on a stick over his shoulder like a hobo, suggesting that he doesn't have a lot of baggage. Yet he's open to life experiences. In some decks, he's accompanied by a dog or another animal, which represents our natural instincts. The Fool symbolizes the blind leap of faith we all must take upon entering the journey of life. Woof.
Ain't that a word?
Woof. But here, like I was saying, with us starting out with the Matrix New Year, the 2023 energy we stepping into.
Right.
This full energy is showing up right and exact and on time. So let's get it. Let's talk about that shit. This full energy. You ever hear that phrase? Well, I know you probably heard that main ingredient song. Everybody plays the fool.
Oh yes. Sometimes.
No exception to the rule.
Listen, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all, do y'all think that that's true though? Is it no exception? Does everybody play the damn fool out here?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I don't believe there's really any exceptions. I mean, because sometimes you know full well that you're playing a fool and you do it anyway. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that you don't know. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I know this shit crazy, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Hell yeah. You know what? And then on here, you know what? That was the same thing that kind of came up for me too. Because I started thinking about in the book called the 48 Laws of Power.
Right.
And I think I ain't touched that book in so long, but I believe one of the laws is sometimes you got to play a sucker to catch
Yeah.
you got to play a fool to catch a fool.
Right. You know, I ain't heard that in so long, but yes, that is completely true. And you know what? I employ that on a regular basis because I don't, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times I just want to like act like I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put any ideas out there. You know what I'm saying? I want to see what you will do. You know what I'm saying? You let people do what they want to do and you see what they will do. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times and it's always worked out to my benefit. So, and then the end, you know, you do have to put a stop to it at some point. Like, hey, listen, I was just, you know, I just wanted to see what you was going to do. I'm not stupid at all.
Right.
So,
right. And I was just going to let this play out and see how far you was taking it.
Yeah.
Right. Right. See, and then that's the thing that I was thinking about. Like, I was trying to replay back in my mind, like, when have I observed this actually happening? And I started thinking about a time not too long ago where somebody was getting in touch with me and they were trying to get some information on some old other shit,
Yeah.
And when people are doing that and they come to you and they're all casual or they're talking about something in left field or something like that, especially if this is a person that ordinarily, you don't have this exchange with. I guess if you did, then they wouldn't be afraid to just straight up ask you, word.
Right.
So I started thinking about that, and you can feel it. You can sense, when
Right.
somebody is trying to come at you sideways with some old other shit.
Yeah, that,
You
that
know?
happened to me before. Like when this was like right after high school. I was probably about 22, 23 years old, right?
Mhm.
So it was my best friend in the world, her and her kids that well, they didn't even have kids at this time. They had been together for a couple years.
Mm.
But he was actually the ex of another girl that I knew. And I was friends with her too. So it wasn't like, animosity or anything like that. It had never been a problem.
Mm.
But she called me, and that was weird because we usually don't talk like that, even though we were cool. But you know what I'm saying, we didn't talk like that on a regular basis. And we had the whole niceties and all that going on. And then she stopped to ask me about my friend's relationship. I'm like, oh well, you know, anything about them, you're gonna need to ask them.
Right. Right. Right.
So I'm not about to be the fool walk into that one. No, ma'am. So
Right.
y'all both are my friends. So y'all figure that out. I'm not in it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, you know what? Let me speak to this quick energy. We just came out of a Mars retrograde. And
Hmm.
the last thing in hell anybody want to be caught up in is some gossiping ass bullshit during a Mars retrograde. It was stationed in Gemini. You know what I'm saying?
Oh Lord.
Gemini is that communication energy and all of that other shit. They chatterboxes, they the social socials, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then you bring that and position it in Mars and put it in a retrograde. That's like getting all of the shit you talk, you know what I'm saying, G checked. You know what I'm saying? Now
Yeah.
all of the shit you talking goes up under review. And so when you start getting into that whole energy and everything, Mars come up out of retrograde, truth start getting revealed out in these streets. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to be on the short end of that stick. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. But yeah, absolutely. And this is definitely how that's been showing up, at least in my experience, over this Mars retrograde, where there's been a lot of that type of energy and everything. And you know me, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of a to myself type of person. And this is my socialization right here. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
kind of sad. I probably shouldn't have said that. Now that I think about it, that sounds really sad.
Oh, I know what you mean. It ain't just this right here.
You
You
know
know,
what? It's fun. Yeah, hey, it's all good. It is what it is. But
right.
I started thinking about that. And then this full energy, right? I
Mhm.
start thinking about how we start in a new cycle making different moves, right?
Right.
And when we're setting these intentions, we're starting to do things. We planning to come on the come up.
Right.
We start making moves. You know what I'm saying? We start doing the damn thing. And this is when that energy, you remember the song back in the day, Biz Markie came up with the vapors.
The vapors, yes.
The vapors
Think about the vapors.
in your
Yeah.
new cycle, because see, folks remembered you when you were struggling in the
Yeah, they
old
like you
cycle,
there.
right?
They like you there.
In the old cycle, you live in the struggle. You doing what you got to do to make it out here in these streets. And all of the seeds that you've been planting are beginning to come into fruition. And then all of the cats that didn't have no conversation, no rap for you. Oh, look at you. You doing it big now. I need to get like you. Hey, let me talk to you for a little bit. They ain't had no damn ass conversation for you. Have you ever experienced that type of energy?
Um,
Stepping into that full energy, and then you see how folks start changing when they start seeing that maybe you doing a little something more successfully.
you know what? The truth is, and I believe it's kind of sad on my end. No, they're haters.
Uh,
They would rather
okay.
sit back and talk ill of me than to give me any type of praise, or not even praise, or understanding that,
Yeah.
or want to know anything about what I'm doing. They just want, most of them have a handout, want me to help them
Yeah.
because back in the day we were so tight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? And that's just a whole nother aspect of that. You know, you stepping into this new cycle in this full energy. And one of those things that we need to really be paying attention to is just how the response is from people that really wasn't available to you before, how that changes. That's happened to me when I was working. Now, when I was just a cat out there working cases and shit like that, there was no conversation from me, from this one girl. I speak to her and everything. Because you know, when you work in certain places, a lot of times there's only a handful of people that look like you. So
Right.
you try to make it your business to extend yourself and let folks know, hey, you know what I'm saying? I see you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That whole avatar shit. I see you, baby. Hey,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Where so you know it was all on that and everything, but because I guess I when I came in there, you know what I'm saying? I started off and I was, you know, working cases and all of this other shit, you know what I'm saying? And there was no, hey, how you doing? Everything. How you doing? You know what I'm saying? No real rap and everything, you know. And I tell her, hey, you know, me and Lil, all of us, we gonna go over here, you know what I'm saying, and eat lunch over at the sub shop, you know what I'm saying? Definitely come join, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you know that we trying to bring you around, you know. Oh no,
Right.
got no time for that. You know what I'm saying? I got some other stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? Really ain't really want to have too much conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Few years passed. I started, you know what I'm saying, progressing. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And started moving in a different position. Now all of a sudden you want to have lunch. You got a conversation now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got something, and it hit me, you know, that, and she's like, hey, I heard from you. I heard that you got promoted to such and such. What you been up to? I ain't
Right.
getting a fucking thing.
Oh yeah, no, they just being nosy because they want to know what you did so they can try to get some too. But baby, you ain't got this juice.
Hey, well, listen, you know what? Well, you know, all you got to do is apply for the fucking job. That's what you do. You know what I'm saying? You got the credentials, the experience, and the degree. Like it ain't that deep. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's, you know what I'm saying? But that was the way that it was. Like, I guess, you know, I gave off nigga from the hood energy at that particular moment in time. So she didn't have time, you know what I'm saying, for that
Well, I can
particular.
tell you a little something about that energy though.
Mm,
That energy, I've gotten that a lot, and
mm,
you know, where they expect you to be this ghetto ass hood chick,
mm.
and when it came to the health of my son, we're not gonna play this game, ma'am.
Right, right.
So I said, well, I'm not even gonna get into that story because it's still a little hurtful, but it's like, you know, they expect you to be just uneducated, unmotivated, just, I don't know what it was. But when they find out that that's not who you are, now all of a sudden they have rap for you, they have time for you.
Mm.
And that's not cool. I don't like
It's,
that.
it's so, you know what? It's not, but we got to respect that this is how folks get down. And for those of us that's out here doing the work, and the reason why I bring this whole full energy on, because we can definitely talk about new beginnings, but then how do we shift our energy in these new beginnings when shit happens? Because if you're coming from a place where you are on the rise and you're trying to make things happen for yourself, your reality begins to change. And
Mm-hmm.
then you start noticing the changes in the people that are around you. As folks like us that's doing the work, I'm hoping
What?
that we can take a really good look at that, because when we deal with people that have a lot to offer, and some of those that don't have anything to offer, is the way that we address them. Just, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just a little bit different. We need to check in with that.
Well, I
But
feel like, I mean, they may have something to offer. They may not be the person who you know what I'm saying, who got the juice and can do the thing, but they could be the person that can help.
right.
You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we got to, you know, really recognize that when that starts to happen. But
Yeah.
when you start moving into new cycles, because one of the things that also kept coming up a lot is us being able to come to peace with the shit that's happened in the old cycles, right? So when you went through all of these changes, like all of these things that you've gone through, all of the this, all of the, you know what I'm saying, people looking down, the naysayers, the player haters, the alligators, all of that shit is put there to help to strengthen.
Mm-hmm.
And when we carry it over into the new cycle, when we move over into our new beginning, and we hit the reset button with this full energy, we have to take on and be in alignment with the direction that we want to go in. And so when we're moving forward in a new way, we got to be sure on what that looks like.
Well, for me, I make a conscious decision to be responsive and not reactive. So, you know what I'm saying? I will come back with a response instead of reaction, because for real, I'll be the one out. The reaction was to beat your ass. So, and I used, that was my go-to reaction.
Real
so,
talk.
Yeah. So I had to come out of that. You know what I mean? So I chose to be responsive instead of reactive. You know, I could do, you know what I'm saying, harmful shit to people, and they still gonna sit back and talk they talk and feel how they feel. So, you know, I just choose to let them have their opinion because that's them. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And just make sure that I'm starting with them with my boundaries. You're not gonna, you know, have me out here looking like a fool because of whatever it is that you're requesting of me. So that's basically how I deal with that energy moving forward. And I also feel like a lot of people just have to be left where they are. And those people were not the ones that were meant to come with you on your journey. So, you know, at this point, those type of people, I don't even have them around me anymore.
Right. See, when we starting on this whole new energy, this new beginning energy, we getting ourselves in alignment and everything. We ain't got time for these motherfucking fools. You know what I'm saying? That's out here in these streets that's holding us back and everything. See, our perspective on how the world is working for us, not the way that the world works, because we kind of clear on that. And this is one of the things that I really had to shift on myself in this whole full energy, and it being the zero. And the zero is all about infinite possibilities, right? So you got the potential, just like I was talking about with that judgment card. We got the potential. We hitting the reset button and we moving forward. But see, the fool's journey is that step, right? It's not where we shedding all of that shit. We done shedded it.
Right.
And now we have recalibrated. And we are getting in alignment in the direction that we want to go in. We better be real clear on the direction that we want to go in, because now we're beginning to start this new journey. And if we go get into alignment, then we got to look at the way that we used to respond. It's not that we throw away old cycle shit and say it didn't happen, because it happened.
Right.
We went through changes where people was trying us. They slept on us. They didn't believe they didn't see our vision. They thought we done lost our mind. We on a rocket to hell. All types of, you know what I'm saying? Right. What you doing? You can't get no money with that. You know what I'm saying? You need to get you a job. You know what I'm saying? Why didn't you get the injection? You know what I'm saying? All of that conversation. Oh shit, here we go. They about to delete my shit. Whatever.
Damn.
You know what a bunch of player hating ass shits these niggas is out here in these streets. You ain't even allowed to think different. They the thought police out here in these streets. You can't even have a thought. You know what I'm saying?
You better think what the fuck we told you to think.
You better follow the agenda. That's what you better do. Get in line with the program. But but with this full energy, how we used to respond. I love how you brought that in, because these are all of the notes that came to mind for me as well.
Yeah.
And I start looking back on old cycle shit and how I used to respond, and how you can make the adjustment, and how I used to look back at my response and how I used to respond, because, you know, some people, they would just rub me the wrong way and I just wouldn't fuck with them. And I didn't want to be around you and what the fuck is you wasting my time talking stupid for? You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have the social skills, the emotional intelligence. I didn't have the capacity to navigate what I was feeling at that particular time, because I didn't really understand that. Now, hindsight being 2020, because I was beating myself up for being too hardcore and too harsh with people. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, I was absolutely correct in my assessment. I was dealing with some scoundrel ass niggas in these streets. Trust me when I tell you, some low vibrating type of behaviors that was going on at the time when I was responding in that way.
Right.
Way that I went about addressing that could have been done so much better had I had the skills and the tools to navigate that a lot differently. And what I could have did is I could have played a fool in order to catch a fool. But instead, what I chose to do is let somebody clear and aware right away that I was hip to the game. And you ain't got me. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't got me, nigga. You know?
Yeah.
That was my whole way of operating. I look back to how I used to show up in certain situations, and it's not even about like the physical appearance of everything, even though we also know that, you know, as you mature and you get older, you start recognizing like there's a time and place for whatever it is you wearing and what you showing up in and all of this other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Time and place. So how we show up for that and knowing the appropriateness of time and how we go about doing things and how we think about things.
Yeah.
And making sure that we're not in this energy of being so easily offended. Our frustration tolerance is so low. Any aggravation sets you off, steals your joy, ruins your day. And I got to tell folks, and I'm here to tell you, because during my younger years, it was really easy to steal my joy. It didn't take much. I gave it away freely, you know, for real, you know. It was really easy to do. But if we don't check these things, then we can't get ourselves in alignment with desired results, unless your desired result is to have a whole bunch of aggravation, frustration,
right,
you know, and you just want to navigate niggatry for the rest of the year or whatever for the next cycle. I mean, because we get to repeat the lesson over again if we didn't catch it.
I've been watching people do that, and it's like, wow, you're doing the same thing again. Okay.
Right. Right. And this, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, when you were talking about stealing your joy, oh my Lord, like everything, anything. You know what I'm saying? If you don't agree with me, you know what I'm saying, we got a problem.
Right.
But the thing about it is my issue was I was forgetful about it. Like people would cross me up. I do what I had to do about it. And it's out of my mind. I don't think about it no more until it popped around again. And it's like, oh, they're trying to set me up again. Nope. You know what I'm saying? I'm not falling for that. And that was a issue that I had, especially with people that I love. And then I get into a spot where it's like, damn, they're trying to fuck me over again. You know what I mean? Like that is so sad. But I had to get in a position to where I had to forgive them and I had to recognize the patterns. You know what I mean? So we have a little bit of culpability in making sure that we don't allow people, well, we have all the culpability in making sure we don't allow people to set us off. You know what I'm saying? It's our job. And I call it staying on my square. Nobody's getting ready to move me off my square about nothing at all. And if I choose to go the fuck off, then I've thought about it thoroughly.
I know that's real. I know that's real. That's that's real talk. I hear you, you know. And this is one of the things that I have been doing a lot of work within myself to make sure that my response is authentic into who I am. However, I got to think about like what my desired result is at the end of the day. Like, do I really want to offend somebody, completely damage a relationship for good, and have somebody resenting me at the end of the day? I mean, is this really what the goal is? Because then I can go ahead and let them have it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But there's a lot of baggage that's connected to that, and we don't see bigger picture, you know, on how hurtful a lot of our actions are at the end of the day. Like you know, and then I'll go back and out, like I said, we go back and we look at a lot of the things that's happened previously in our lives. And instead of taking that as a situation that we can hold on to and hold the grudge, like you were saying, you forget that shit, you let it go. I don't forget that shit. I will hold on to it for a little while. And the thing is that I'm working to neutralize the effect that it has on my emotional well-being. And how I've done that is by really staying true to who I am, like you were just saying, not coming off of my square so that I'm not feeling some type of way about myself later. But I forgive myself for not showing up last time, right?
Right.
Because there were so many times that I didn't show up for myself, and I would sit back and review that shit and then sit around resentful, you know, that I didn't show up for myself. And then when the opportunity comes, I pounce on it like a jaguar, waiting for somebody, you know what I'm saying, to wrong me again, especially during these times where I started feeling a lot of guilt and shame about where, you know, you and I don't know, you know, I know you got folks in your family, and most folks got folks in their family, in their circle, in their workplace, somewhere, who believes that they hold this moral authority on the way to go.
Yeah.
And they truly have their finger on the pulse of what righteousness looks like.
And they've planned your whole life out, and you are the devil because you haven't followed by their rules.
Or they're going to tell you what you should take responsibility for, what you should be doing, how you should be operating. And, you know, and I see this a lot of times. I was talking to a friend of mine who has some in-laws, and the in-laws had a situation in the family where someone's kids was going to get taken off of them, and they felt that my girlfriend should have scooped up those kids and came and saved the day. And she's like, listen, you know what I'm saying? I love those kids. If there's something that they need, I will support them. But someone else in the family is going to have to take. I don't have the resources at all for any of this. But someone with this moral authority, because it ain't looking right to them, made this decision to come in and shame them and make them feel as if they was wrong for not stepping in and taking responsibility for someone else's situation. And we get ourselves in this space where we get concerned about what it looks like.
Right.
Because it does. It's a very beautiful thing to do. If you got the resources and you can show up and you can raise your cousin and them's kids, you know what I'm saying? And you can do that, like what was that? Bernie Mac, he did that shit, you know what I'm saying? With that, for his sister or whoever in the fuck, you know what I'm saying? If you can do that, that's a beautiful thing. But if you barely feeding your family, you know, that makes it difficult. And you know, and I know that on the surface, people will tell you, you got to throw it all down. But the folks that's out there telling you about how you ain't got it together, they ain't coming up with no solutions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To make shit right. But they'll make you feel bad.
Yeah. And it's a shame, you know, because it happens a lot, a whole lot.
Absolutely, a whole lot. And this is another thing that we really have to look at as we move forward, is not allowing someone else to dictate to us what our moral compass looks like, what's right, what's wrong.
But I'm kind of a product of that same situation
Mm,
because of, my granddad was afraid of what it looked like.
yeah,
So because my parents was out here on drugs, they took us in because of what it looked like,
right, right,
you know, and it's, we grew up, with love. I'm not going to say that we weren't loved,
yeah.
but we definitely knew that it was a burden.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It can be. And it's different with grandparents because that's a different, you know what I'm saying? There's a different charge to grandparents because that's an extension. Like if something happened with my daughter's children, even though, I'm barely man, I'm coming to collect my grandbabies, and it ain't because of what it looked like. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I'm collecting them because those are my children. You know what I'm saying? Now, my niece's children, if I got the resources, I'm going to come and get them too. But if I can't take care of them, I'm not going to be the first person jumping up to volunteer to go and collect them when I know that there's a lot of family that can step in and intervene and assist with that. You know,
Right.
and there ain't no love loss. There ain't no shade being thrown, as a direct result of me just being real, just being true.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? And going against the grain of what we think is the way it's supposed to go and how it's supposed to look, you know?
Yeah.
And if we can move forward in this next cycle and not really allow folks, as we start getting in our new beginnings, in our new way, to tell us how we're going to operate, then we will start making, we will sit at the commander seat in our life. Let's say that, huh?
Right.
We'll sit at the commander seat in our life, because I do realize that I got to be real careful with how I word things, because you'll get talked into doing things. We saw an illustration of this play out over the past few years, where you get convinced that you have to do something because they tell you this is what needs to be done. And because of what they tell you is supposed to look like, we get all confused on what the reality truly is. And then
Right.
we end up in a situation we don't want to be in, and in a condition we don't want to be in, as a
Right.
direct result from not working with the star player within us, without checking our own moral compass, but letting somebody else tell us what that looks like.
Yeah.
And we really got to start being just in tune enough, and confident enough, and solid enough. And like you said, Aquarius moon, on your square, not being taken off of that, to not allow somebody else to tell you the direction that we need to go in.
Mm-hmm.
It's important now we do that. This is how we show up, our perspective on what's right and wrong, and all of the lessons that we take with us moving forward. And I'm really hoping that we will get an opportunity to shake the energy of going along, getting along, but also shaking the energy of this adversarial type of vibe, where you feel like, because I'm going and doing my own thing and doing it my own way, this turns this into this adversarial exchange where we standing off and it's a face off, because it
Right.
don't have to be like that either. And for
Right.
us to really build these social skills, to build enough to be able to navigate that energy of disagreement, of someone seeing things differently, of having that discernment, of being able to see who's real with you and who's not, the connections that we have moving forward in this new cycle, like who's truly your people and who's people that they cool, they got you. You got to know, you remember that Houdini song, that friends, how many
Right.
of us have them, and you go through it. Some is okay, they treat you real cool. Some mistake your kindness for being a fool. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And
Right.
you are really in tune with who people are, what they are, and we can respect and love and accept them. We can't change them. We don't hold the moral compass. We don't hold we're on the moral authority.
I just feel like I let people be who they are and I address them accordingly.
Absolutely.
Like if I know this fool rob people all the time, I'm not gonna bring him around my my most prized shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, yeah, that's
right.
pretty much what it is. I know how to treat you now. That's
absolutely. Absolutely. And that don't mean that there's no love lost, because I got a lot of compassion. I understand people do things based on the skills that they have. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we get into this space because humanity, it's our nature to be selfish. It's our nature to look out for us first. And when you don't have a lot of the social and emotional intelligence to be able to navigate that situation, then it puts you in a space where you start looking for the quickest solution. And we end up creating a tremendous disservice to ourselves. And so this is why I wanted to really step in here and just give a different spin on this whole full energy, because we can look at the whole new swag, because we already know that. We already dealt with that, right? New year, new me. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, new year, new me. But how about new year upgraded me? You know, upgraded me is not even about it being a new me. It's me with new tools, with new skills. I'm not throwing away the girl that didn't show up for herself because I didn't have the capacity. I didn't have the tools. I'm embracing that girl. I'm doing something different because I know better. I do better.
Say got new downloads and then upgraded myself.
Absolutely. And a lot of us is going, and I'm telling you, it's going down right about now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but then we also look on this other end too, because I also forgot, you know, when we hold back, we don't show up for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We start getting into this space where we just, you know, we real reckless with it and all of that. That's another aspect of how the full energy can show up and not serve us as well.
Right.
So if we start navigating this energy and helping it and assisting us in being successful, we go get the true benefit from this. But I'm gonna close this to reiterate what we was just saying, because I got this message from Spirit that I want to bring to y'all, that's letting you know that this is exactly what time it is right about now. Aquarius moon, Dante, brother, y'all got anything that y'all want to add before I deliver this message real quick? Because I don't, you know how that takes me sometimes.
Yeah, I just want to say, get up, get started, leave the fear on the floor.
Nah, I just want to say, I ain't got nothing to say.
How's the weather over there in Cali?
Oh, today it was dry. This clouds was looking weird as hell though. They look like somebody put those there, and the clouds are moving in a weird not pattern, but they're moving weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's weird. But tomorrow it's gonna rain again. It's gonna rain. It just stopped raining yesterday, so it's gonna rain again tomorrow. So I'm gonna be out there working, getting wet on purpose.
I heard that. It's raining our way too. It's raining up here in Pittsburgh. What's it doing in Ohio? Is it raining up?
It's raining here too.
It's raining there too. That's what it is. Yeah, this is some cleansing energy for us to really start moving forward in these new beginnings.
Definitely have my windows open.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
It's supposed to be illegal to capture rainwater, or so I heard. I ain't looked up what specific law that is, but you know, sometimes people do it anyway, and I'm gonna just say,
I've been trying to do it anyway. They used to sell rain containers here, in Pittsburgh. And I wanted to, they used to have these rain drums where you could tell it, and they stopped them. Some, you know what I'm saying? The authorities stopped and told them that, you know, it's illegal. How in the hell is it illegal to save water? I just, you know, whatever. Like I said, you know, you got to go along with the plan. Somebody got to tell you the way to go. Whatever. Whatever. But Spirit is coming through, because Spirit wants to talk about us doing those things that really bring joy, that bring pleasure, that bring beauty into our life, and us pursuing our passions. And the things that hold us back out here is a lot of that unresolved stuff. And so with dealing with this full energy and getting into these new beginnings on this new adventure, Kemetef comes through to remind us and encourage us to really begin releasing a lot of that old baggage that's holding us back from really keeping us in alignment. Because if we hold an expectation of negativity, this is the energy that we attract. We build our worlds with this. And it is important for us to keep our vibrations in a higher frequency so that we can begin to attract the love, the joy, the pleasure, the beauty that we want to see within our lives. The goddess Sasheta comes through and has been coming through so much this week, encouraging us and really, really letting us know about the importance of making sure we're writing our visions down. Aquarius moon was telling me the other day about her writing down mantras. And this has been consistent amongst a lot of spiritualists that have been out there. Spirit has been connecting with so many of us in this community about making sure that we got this power statement, this mantra that's going to assist us in shifting into the energy so that we can make these things come true for ourselves. Because when we do this, we will open ourselves up to see the opportunities, to connect to those times, those opportunities where we can get success, where we step into our power and really begin making things happen for ourselves. This is a time for us to shift. We're being initiated into a new level. And the fool's journey is the first step. But we got to make sure that we're on the correct frequency in order to attract those things that we wish to receive. And so I'm going to end it out on that particular note, my family, my loves. And we got a little time. You guys, I want to thank you so much for showing up, for coming through, for building with a sister. I love you both so much, y'all. Peace and light, peace and love. Anything y'all want to say before I close the door?
I'll just thank you for having me, as always. It's been a pleasure.
I love you. I love you. I love you. Love you, Brother Dante. You keep.
Peace. No, I don't got nothing to say. Peace out. One love.
All right. One love. One
Peace,
love.
brother.
Peace and light. Peace and love.
See y'all in a minute.
Peace.